Hey guys, how are you? David Franco here from the FrancoHosting.com with another video on the Nexus 7. This time I am choosing to focus on voice search alone. By voice search I do mean Google search, kind of like Siri on the iPhone 4S, which is on the left side, and obviously on the right is the Nexus 7. Now, before I put these two devices up against each other, let me just say this quick disclaimer. Voice search on each device is two entirely separate worlds. Siri, from what I can see, that's my email going off. Siri, from what I can tell, is more of a personal approach and it gives you more data. But Google search on the Nexus 7 is more broad and it relies heavily on their search engine, hence being a Google-powered device. So without further ado, let me just give you examples of exactly what I mean. What is the current weather?
It's 97.
Here's the forecast for now.
Here's the forecast for the next few days.
Okay, so the Nexus 7 was definitely a little quicker, but Siri gives you a more visual approach, at least in my opinion. I mean, this does not look bad at all. The whole card view is very elegant. But this on the left gives you more information in terms of the weather. So it's definitely more balanced out. Siri's more robotic, but Nexus 7 gives you a more personal approach in terms of how she presents herself. And yes, I'm saying she because it's obviously a female voice. But between the devices, it's pretty balanced out, and they both did an excellent job. Now, check this out. Will there be any thunderstorms today?
Yes, in fact, I think there will be thunderstorms today.
Now, this is an excellent example of exactly why I prefer Siri over Google search. The Nexus 7 literally did a Google search for, will there be any thunderstorms today? That's literally what it did, and it obviously gave me search results based on that query. But Siri, on the other hand, actually answered my question. She thinks there will be thunderstorms, and she gave me an hourly forecast between 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock. There are likely chances of a thunderstorm, which in my opinion is good because I love thunderstorms. So that's an excellent example of how these two search engines, I shouldn't even say search engines, search functions decide to approach your search queries, if that's the best way of explaining it. Okay, so let's back out of this and start all over. Let's get that running software-wise instead of hardware, since there is a small delay on the left. Okay, let's speak in terms of setting an alarm or a timer. Now, this is something I use every day. I just used it today when I was making lunch. I was making a little, chicken cordon bleu, which I love, and it took 30 minutes to cook, so I told my iPhone to set a timer for 30 minutes, and I told my Nexus 7 the same thing before. But what did it tell me? Let's see. Set a timer for 30 minutes.
Your timer is set for 30 minutes.
And there you go. It actually set an alarm. Now, it backed out of it, but I still prefer Siri's approach. It's more simple, it's more obvious at what it did, and for whatever reason, the Nexus 7 set the alarm, but backed out of it. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I guess that comes down to how you personally prefer your visual interface and how it presents itself. But again, in my opinion, Siri did a better job. But the Nexus 7 definitely shines in one area, and check this out. Show me pictures of the Xbox 360.
If you like, I can search the web for pictures of the Xbox 360.
360, I just found that funny for whatever reason. Now, as you can see, the Nexus 7 this time around was more visual because it did a direct Google search, again, of course, because this is an Android device running pure Google software. But Siri, on the other hand, wants to search the web for me, which requires another step. So let's do that.
Searching for pictures of the Xbox 360.
And it'll go into Safari. But the Nexus 7, okay, first of all, I should say, Siri only took me to a regular search. It wasn't even smart enough to take me to a Google image search by default. But the Nexus 7 obviously did. Now if I tap any of the pictures, I can scroll through them with ease just because I asked her to show me pictures of the Xbox 360. This alone is awesome, and it's a feature I really really appreciate about the Nexus 7. Now let's do another example. Let's start this up. Show me pictures of the Nexus 7.
If you like, I can search the web for pictures of the Nexus 7.
Okay, first of all, the iPhone 4S understood me better than the Nexus 7 did. The Nexus 7 thought I said Nexus Send as in S-E-N-D, which is weird because I did do a test before this video to see how it would read me, but so let's try that again. Show me pictures of the Nexus 7.
If you like, I can search the web for pictures of the
Okay.
Nexus 7.
She did it again. She did Nexus Send, but as you can see, some Nexus images still came up. That's not the Nexus 7, but hey, it tried. Okay, so now let's do a test compose tweet using voice dictation, which I gotta say I'm loving on the Nexus 7 more than I enjoy on the iPhone 4S, surprisingly, because unlike the iPhone 4S, the Nexus 7 actually shows me the words appear in real time, where the Nexus 7, it's kind of like a speak and pray kind of thing. You just gotta hope it shows up. Now, is it perfect? No, but at least I can see my words as they're coming up. So let's do a quick compose here, as I'm missing the buttons. Here we go. Here we go. This is a test tweet while recording my video, period. Okay, well, I have a extra keyboard installed using swipe, so it wants me to tap this, but it did do it perfectly. Now, interestingly enough, it did not know to capitalize the first word like the iPhone 4S did. So speaking in terms of a grammatical point of view, the iPhone 4S definitely did a better job. It required me to tap done, but then again, the Nexus 7 required me to tap on the phrase above the keyboard. But then again, this obviously prefers on which keyboard you use. So this could definitely differ per your experience. But overall, they both did a great job. Now exiting. And finally, closing out the video, let's talk about something that iOS 6 will bring, and that's the ability to launch apps using voice commands, which the Nexus 7, I believe, does not do. Maybe there is something you could install from the Google Play Store, I'm not sure. Again, I am an Android noob, so I'm learning as I make these videos, but let's see what happens. Launch Instagram.
Ever so sorry, Squid Boy. I'm not allowed to do that.
Yes, my nickname is Squid Boy. It's a family joke. But as you can see, they both understood me perfectly. The iPhone 4S is just not capable of doing that because this is still running iOS 5. But again, iOS 6 will be able to do this in a month or two. Whereas the Nexus 7, I'm really not sure if that's on Google's roadmap, but hopefully it is. And now going back, how about we do one last search and let's make it a complex one. What should I say? Okay, here's one. This is probably just going to be a simple Google search, but it's still fun to do anyway. Who is taller, Bill Gates or Steve Jobs?
Let me check on that. Okay, here you go.
Okay, so this is very, very interesting. The Nexus 7 literally just did a Google search, whereas the iPhone 4S, while she took a little longer, Siri told me this data, well, not told, more presented this data in a nice table view, where Bill Gates is in one column, Steve Jobs is in the other with their birthdays, place of birth, date of death, unfortunately for Steve Jobs' case, and even pictures. So I gotta say the iPhone 4S definitely wins in this round. But closing out the video, guys, I gotta say I'm impressed either way. The Nexus 7 is definitely faster in certain regards in terms of weather, but the iPhone 4S for me is more of a visual experience. Now, this will be more interesting when the iPad has access to Siri starting this fall. Now, I realize some people can run the iOS 6 beta already, but me being old-fashioned, I like to wait until the official release to enjoy it along with everybody else. But you can definitely count on me doing another video of the new iPad, 3rd generation, versus the Nexus 7 in terms of voice search. And now, I guess that closes out the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you do have any more requests regarding the Nexus 7 versus the iPhone 4S, the iPad, iPod Touch, or whatever, anything besides the Kindle Fire, I can't stand that piece of crap. But as you guys can hopefully tell, I am loving my Nexus 7. And unlike the Kindle Fire, I have no plans whatsoever of selling it. Unless, of course, when the Nexus 8 comes out, I'll just use that money towards that. But for now, I don't see myself selling the Nexus 7 anytime soon. It's definitely a great secondary tablet, and it's something I've been enjoying this past week very much. And now, guys, I will let you go. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you do like this video, please click that like button. I really appreciate it. Your support means the world to me. And I'll see you next time.